Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
We'd like to thank Woodbine for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Woodbine open now through December, featuring great racing, including the King's Plate coming up in August, Turf Champions Day with the Woodbine Mile in September, and much, much more. Woodbine Racing, great racing north of the border. Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Saturday. I'm going to shift my seat a little bit. I seem to be off center. There we go. Welcome to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. Seth Merrow in the studio on another nice Saturday of stakes action. We're going to talk a little Belmont stakes action. Maybe we'll hit on some Santa Anita a little bit later on. We'll kick things off. Churchill Downs, they have a couple of stakes today, the ACAC and the Lucas Classic, both looking like good races to take a look at on their closing weekend, so keep that in mind. Who better to talk to about Churchill than paddock commentator pregame? You see Joe Kristufek. We'll lasso him in to get some thoughts on the action this afternoon. Joe, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Seth. Yeah, closing weekend, mandatory payouts on all wagers tomorrow. Got that Derby City 6, at least for today. It's a jackpot. Full carryover from yesterday into today. Approaching $200,000. So if it survives the day today, we got that mandatory payout tomorrow. The pool should be about $250,000 unless we have a full carryover today, which isn't out of the question. And fast and firm, 11 races, good mix of a couple stakes, some really good 2-year-old races, and solid opportunities from top to bottom.
Yeah, good reminder that with closing day tomorrow, mandatory pays tomorrow, closing day. Move on to Keeneland for their meet, and then back end of October into November for the Churchill later fall meet. But this one, a little brief few weeks, and I pulled up before I went on the air, jockey and trainer standings. On the trainer side of things, Brad Cox, he's only 3 wins ahead, but with a couple of days, you would think Brad's probably in a pretty good spot. Asmussen is in the mix. Actually, David Jacobson sitting second. It's Brad with 9, David Jacobson with 6, and then Dallas Stewart, Mike Maker, Tommy Amos, Joe Sharp, Foster, Norm Cassie with 4. Asmussen actually down with 3, along with Belmont. It's the typical group in there, and as I say, with a couple of days left, you think Brad's probably in a good spot with the 3. But what is notable over on the jockey side, first of all, Tyler Gaffalione got back from the injury this summer at Ellis, and right back into the thick of things. Tyler Gaffalione sitting at 22 wins, Irad Ortiz with 15, and Jose Ortiz with 11. And what's notable there, I wonder if Jose is going, come on, Irad. Irad Ortiz moving to Kentucky for the fall and sitting right in second place. So kind of fun on the jockey and trainer side of things, the short meet.
Yeah, Tyler was off 3+ months, and he delayed his return to Ellis a couple weeks into the meet. And I thought he'd be a little bit rusty, but he picked up right where he left off. I mean, he has just been a man possessed, been riding tremendously well at the September meet here at Churchill Downs on the heels of his huge summer at Ellis, where he won the title going away despite the late start. And you mentioned Brad Cox. If you got him at 2 to 5 odds in the September meet future book wager, I think you can go to the window, because not only does he have that 3-win lead, that he is absolutely loaded today. Most wanted in the ACAC is going to be even money. He's got some other very live shots today and closing day tomorrow.
Yeah, no question about it. And I'll also mention it was good news. Brian Hernandez, and I had him on the set up at Saratoga. Great guy, and I was injured in that spill, about a week or so ago, maybe a little more than that. But it seems like, and the latest tweet I saw from him said he's home now on the men. So that was good news, because the first couple of days it was, he had ribs and a liver thing, but it looks like, again, he's on the mend, and that was good news for Brian Hernandez.
Yeah, super, super scary, and I didn't even know it happened. I mean, it just kind of happened, and people didn't even really notice it, and then I heard he was off his mount, and, you get limited updates, due to privacy concerns.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. We just knew that he was taken to the hospital, and then you hear the extent of everything later on. And not only is he a top rider, but as you mentioned, top human being. He's got a lot of fans, not only because of his success as a jockey, but just how he handles his business. And he's already, it's amazing. They get hurt and they can't wait to get back in the saddle. And I'm sure Brian feels the exact same way.
Yeah, I saw something. He's hoping around Breeders' Cup time, and knock wood. I hope he makes it because again, a good guy, nice rider, and we're certainly rooting for Brian. But I wanted to toss that out as well when we're talking jockeys. And talking jockeys, let's get into the ACAC. That's race 8 today, Grade 3 event, $400,000 up for grabs. They'll travel the 1-turn mile, and Irod Ortiz is on board, most wanted. I pulled up the optional claimer from June 1st at Churchill. Subsequently ran 5th in the Forego up at Saratoga behind Bookham Dano. But again, we're looking at a race 2 races back. Nice win the last time this horse was on the track for a race at Churchill. And the Brad Cox trainee, I'm kind of going back to this effort. I had to tilt in that direction, but I thought we'll take it for Dallas Stewart, who is having a very nice meet. We mentioned his name earlier. Tumbarumba, intriguing, indispensable for John Sadler coming in from the West Coast. What were your thoughts on the ACAC?
Yeah, Most Wanted's a weird horse in that he can win going a mile and an eighth, but maybe not against the top Breeders' Cup Classic kinds of horses. He can compete going 7 furlongs like he did last time out in the Forego, where I think that trip's just a little bit too sharp for him.
Yeah.
He can win over the 1-turn mile, obviously. I think the only thing that can beat him here, Seth, would be the post position, depending on how the race plays out tactically. If he doesn't get a great trip, breaks a little bit slowly, or gets buried down inside, or just doesn't have a clean journey, in a perfect world, he's probably drawn 6 or 7 on the outside with the tactical speed where he can make his own trip. But he's the best horse in the race. I think it's going to be tough to oppose him. You mentioned we'll take it. I think, obviously better than he's ever been off that last win. Tumbarumba, if it's a battle down the stretch, he usually gives everything he's got. He's like every time he's finished first or second, it's been a nose, a head, or a neck margin either way. So he's always right there. But for multi-race purposes, I wouldn't argue with anyone that would be for potentially singling Most Wanted.
Yeah, I kind of agree. He looks like he has the edge in here. Not invincible, but I think he does have a little bit of an edge with the group. In the Lucas Classic Grade 2 event, $500,000 up for grabs. They'll go a mile and an eighth. This is a nice field in here. I pulled up a replay of Vanishing winning the Charlestown Classic in the last start for David Jacobson. And interesting, he was then going to come back like a week later up at Saratoga and change those plans. And this is a more logical spot, obviously. But coming off of this race, he's a player, a triple-digit buyer win, had a 100 after this victory. I tilted toward Disarm in a field that I think you could point to 3 or 4 in here and make pretty good cases, maybe more, 4 or 5. Disarm, 2 starts back, a 104 buyer in the Whitney, now was 3rd behind Sierra Leone. Subsequently in the Jockey Club didn't run as well, but I could see a rebound. Irad hops on board. Underneath, I used Vanishing. Willie D's is interesting. Hit Show. Mystic Dan, I didn't know what to do with that one. Rattle and Roll, I've kind of been on his train throughout the career for better or worse, but a fun addition to the Lucas Classic. How did you see it?
Yeah, it's a fun race, like you mentioned. Prince of Power, who probably doesn't have a great win chance, at least kind of assures that we're going to have an honest pace. I mean, he's going to go to the lead, and the pace should be honest enough for some of these. Willie D's has got some speed too with Luis from the rail. Hit Show, Dubai World Cup winner. I mean, this is a horse that won this race last year. It's tough to take anything away from him. Rattle and Roll is just one of those tremendous veteran fun horses who's now a 6-year-old. Hasn't run since Dubai in the World Cup, but he seems to come back fresh and run some of his better races. He was 3rd in this race last year before he won the Clark. Mystic Dan should get a good stock and pounds trip. He ran 4th in the Stephen Foster. Nothing wrong with finishing 4th behind Mindframe, Sierra Leone, and First Mission. You mentioned Disarm. He's never really had his coming out party. He's put together a great career, lots of nibbles in these Grade 1, Grade 2 races, but like you said, speed figure-wise, he fits. Banishing is such a cool horse because you don't see too many horses in training that can win at the graded stakes level, going 6 furlongs, upward of 1 mile and an eighth. And, you mentioned it. I mean, he runs back quick in a lot of these races for David Jacobson. He took a year off. I don't have the lifetime PPs in front of me, but he lost a year of his career earlier on, and now he just seems to be not only versatile, but a horse that just kind of can handle training and can handle racing and actually thrives on it. I think he's going to get first run on some of the deeper closers, him and Mystic Dan, which I think could work to his benefit. He's got an outside draw. Tyler Gaffalione gets along with him well. Won the Charlestown Classic and over that bull ring going 9 furlongs, and looked like he had plenty left in the tank across the finish line. So in a very wide open, fascinating race, I gave Banishing the edge, but there are 3, 4, even 5 of them that I think can win it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Gaffalione on board, Banishing. Mystic Dan, as I said earlier, the one I didn't know what to do with. I found it interesting that last time, Kenny McPeak had said before, and it worked out that way. He was going to try the turf in the Arlington Million, ran 4th in there, not a badly beaten 4th, but it was a little bit of an experiment. Now they get back to the dirt. But you also look at Mystic Dan's Churchill record, obviously the big win, but he's 3 for 5 at Churchill. I left him out of my mix, but I'm intrigued by Mystic Dan.
Yeah, for all the same reasons, and like I mentioned with him and Banishing, I think he's going to get the trip that he wants because he should sit right in that second queue, and some of the other horses that are major contenders, Disarm, Rattle and Roll, Hit Show, they're going to come from further off the pace. So I think you're going to see a somewhat well-strung out field, and I want a horse that's in the chasing queue. And I just think that Banishing is better than Mystic Dan overall, so that's why I leaned in his direction. But Mystic Dan's going to get the trip he wants. I don't know if he's going to get that Kentucky Derby ground-saving trip with Brian Hernandez not aboard today, but he should be in that stalking queue, get first run at the quarter pole, and we'll see where it goes. But on the win end of things, Seth, he's going to get bet down because he's Mystic Dan. He won the Kentucky Derby. He's going to take a lot of that kind of money, but I don't think we'll get that kind of attention in the multi-race wagers, which is where most of my focus lies.
Very good. So, again, a couple nice stakes today and a really nice card down at Churchill. And, again, it is closing weekend down there. That means mandatory pays tomorrow in the multi-race bets. Joe, I didn't ask you at the top, what's the weather look like today?
It's beautiful.
Nice.
80 degrees, fast and firm. It couldn't be any nicer.
I had texted you maybe the middle of the Saratoga meet. One of your horses was running, and I texted you. You said, can't make it. I'm down at Ellis and busy. And so we missed you up at Saratoga this year. But talk a little bit about some of the brilliant racing horses. You have anything coming up in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, that horse is Johnny's Fireball, who actually, as of yesterday morning, via phone call with Norm Cassie, has been retired.
Oh.
He's got a little bit of a minor injury, something we can bring him back if we really wanted to, but he's won 4 races for us. He's been really good to us. He's going to be 8 years old January 1st when all horses have a birthday, and we just decided to do what was right by the horse. Justin Nicholson, David Levitch, and us at Brilliant Racing, along with Norm Cassie, obviously decided it was in his best interest to retire him. We got Spider Woman, who ran a good third in an allowance race at Churchill the other day. She broke her maiden at Hoosier, finally got her over the hump, and we got a chance to do some good with her, hopefully at Turfway this winter. And then Dulgaru's getting a little bit of a break. He'll be back at Fairgrounds this winter. He got a win and got a second in an allowance race, and I think we can have a fun winter with him too. And I know John Dooley's looking forward to calling him and hopefully calling him to a victory in New Orleans. That's all we got right now, Seth. Just 2 horses in training, and I think we'll be starting up another partnership in the not-too-distant future, but nothing immediately on the horizon.
All right. Always like to root for the horses connections that I'm familiar with, and so when I see a Brilliant Racing horse, I always mention it on the air, and we're rooting for you whenever you're in the mix. Wrapping up the Churchill meet, and so you get a little time off. I know it was a long summer with Ellis, and then right into that September Churchill meet. So, Joe, enjoy the time off, and we'll be watching the next couple of days, and then we'll get you plugged back in the end of October.
No, sounds good. I got a chance to go to Kentucky Downs and enjoy the races as a fan a couple times in September. I plan on doing the same at Keeneland and recharging the battery. And of course, when I got time off, what am I doing? I'm going to the racetrack. So that's just kind of the way we're built, Seth. But I appreciate it. And yeah, before you know it, November meet, and then I'll be shipped off the fairgrounds for another season in New Orleans.
Yeah, very good. As they say, we'll get you plugged in at the various venues, but enjoy some time off and visits to Keeneland. I have visited Keeneland. Keeneland's a great place. I would recommend that. I've never been to Kentucky Downs, but everybody who goes says you have to go. It's a unique situation, not just the racetrack and its configuration, but the hospitality area for the fans as well.
Yeah, well, if you get a chance to come down there, given your media status, they take good care of you. You got a very comfortable spot to watch the races and cover if you so choose, or just enjoy the day as a fan like I did. And the hospitality is great there, and obviously the racing, full fields, big prices, and be able to do some good pari-mutually too, which is always a huge bonus.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make it down, no question about it. Joe, appreciate the visit, and as I say, we'll talk again.
All right. Yeah, have a good one. Always a pleasure, Seth. Thank you.
Joe Kristufek, again, from Churchill Downs. Nice card today. And again, don't forget, it is closing weekend there, so tomorrow, mandatory pays down at Churchill. All right, we'll take a break. Hey, it's our friend Howard Kravets. He'll join us after the break, the HHH Racing Podcast. I always tout that. Great information you can find on their YouTube channel via their podcast and other podcast platforms. But Howard, I know a few days ago on the podcast, took a look at some of the stakes action in New York. So we'll hit on that, maybe get a thought on the Goodwood out in Southern California as well. All of that when we continue on Racing Across America. Stay tuned.
출발합니다.
이 순간을 위해 여기까지 달려왔다. 이제 내일을 향해 뛴다.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. As promised before the break, joined now by our friend Howard Kravets from the HHH Racing Podcast. Howard, good morning.
Good morning, Sean. How are you doing today?
Very good. Happy to have you on board. I will admit I didn't get a chance to watch it because usually I'm sitting handicapping and I'll pull you guys up in the background. And normally I pull it up, but I saw the other night you did talk about some of the stakes in New York. So I thought we'd have you on to maybe preview some of that action today. But before we get to that, as always, when I have you on, just talk a little bit and tout the HHH Racing Podcast and what has now become an empire.
Well, I don't know about that. I'll tell you what, we need to do better with our handicapping today than Team USA is the rider stuff. But anyway, just had to throw that in there. It's a little disappointing so far during that competition. HHH Racing Podcast, we're rolling up on 5 years. Very exciting. close to 1 million total views on YouTube. I'm so proud of
That's great.
and I need to say what we've created, because it takes a village. But we have live shows on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, and then we have a new show we started about a month and a half ago called Weekend Warriors that we started over the summer, which is on Saturdays. It's a live show. We do live betting. We have video from tracks. We have audio from tracks. Today we start at 2:30 Eastern. We're showing a lot of stake races from all over the country, big Breeders' Cup preps, of course, in New York, Kentucky, and California. So you can find us on Twitter at HHH Racing Pod. We have a website, hhhracingpodcast.com, and of course we have our Power Pick tip sheet. That's very popular, including a Keeneland-only Power Pick tip sheet coming up. So yeah, I'm really proud of what we've created in this very competitive podcast space.
Yeah, and as I say, I typically will listen when I'm home at night. I'm handicapping and have you guys on in the background. Very informative. Great team, the various shows and whatnot. We've had you on up at Saratoga. I was thinking as I was driving in this morning, it was like a bonus. We had you on a couple of times. Were you there 2 times, or were you there total with the Belmont Stakes weekend? Were you there then as well? So was there 3 visits to Saratoga or only 2? I couldn't remember.
It was 2 for the first time this past summer. I went up there twice. I'm from the Chicago area. Did not go up there for the Belmont. It's too crazy. It's also extremely expensive, and just maybe next year we'll see. It'll be the last time in Saratoga, of course. But it was twice. I was there opening weekend of the usual summer meet in mid-July, and then our whole group was there in early August.
Yeah, I knew it was at least 2, which was a bonus. And then we had some extra Howard Kravets on the backstretch with us, which was always fun. And I saw you guys on the front side, and I know you all get treated well. You are contest players, and so I know Donnie treats you guys very well. And we were in the little gazebo. I met you out there, and I'm sure the couple of summer visits were fun and hopefully productive.
Yeah, they're great. Donnie Nelson and Ira Best does a great job. They run a lot of fun tournaments. Actually had the fortunate opportunity to win the Naira contest a few weeks ago. My good buddy Matt Miller won it last weekend over Tony Joe. It's fun. It's only a $300 entry with $100 going to the prize pool. That's their usual tournament. On Saturdays, there's no BCBC or NHC seats available usually. But it's a fun tournament. It's lower budget. You don't have to go crazy. There's really good players in there, and they offer nice cash prizes. So, yeah, hats off to Naira for running some solid tournaments. And Donnie Nelson is just a gem. If you know Donnie, he does a great job taking care of the patrons.
Yeah, I've known Donnie for years, and yeah, you're right, does a great job. They brought back the low rollers this year. A lot of people, including me, very happy about that. That was the last couple of weeks of the meet. They finally worked out the logistics. They changed the tote system last year, which meant it just wasn't quite working with the cards they used for the contest, but they had it all worked out. So by next year, I'm hoping we're in a regular rotation with the low rollers. That's always a lot of fun. And speaking of, there are also the feeders on Fridays, which you can take I think it's a $40 buy-in on Friday that'll feed you into that $300 contest on Saturday. So I would invite people to take advantage of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, if you're a contest player, and I've only been a contest player for about 4 years, Seth. I'm a little late to the game, but I'm fully invested in contests now, including playing in the BCBC, which is, of course, a big one for the Breeders' Cup. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. That low roller one is, $40, I think, entry? Yeah. So there's price points for everyone. You just have to go out there and find them. And if you don't like live money, you can play you can play what they call $2 mythical, win place, or which is not even real money. You put in an entry fee, and then you're spending $2 to win in place with mythical money. So there's a lot of different concepts out there. You just have to investigate how much you want to spend, what type of tournament you like to play.
Yeah, exactly. There are the online contests that are popular as well. And as you say, there are various price points to play into. I always tout the contest because you have to. I think hones your handicapping. You're looking for value, and it just gives you a different kind of and a fun perspective. And just before we get to the actual races, you mentioned it earlier, but I'll let you once again tout the Power Picks, because you put out a great product there with a lot of nice information every weekend.
I appreciate that. HHH Racing Podcast, Power Pick Tip Sheet. The standard one comes out on Saturday. It's only about $5. And it's like 5 pages, Seth. I know you guys put out for Capital TV, I think has a tip sheet, right? That's really detailed, and
Yep.
I've seen it before. Ours is usually 4 to 5 pages. It's only $5 every Saturday. You can find it on Patreon, patreon.com/HHH Racing Podcast. And I know we're on audio here. So if you just go to our website, HHHRacingPodcast.com, you can find out about it. There's a Power Pick Tip Sheet tab. You can find out about that. That's the one that comes out on Saturdays. And then we have week-specific Power Pick Tip Sheets. Up until Thursday of next week, we have Keeneland-only Power Pick Tip Sheets, which will come out on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I write it along with Paul Hauer and Noah Maher. So look into our Power Pick Tip Sheets. Everyone, or most people that have purchased them are extremely happy with them. It's not an easy game, and we're not here to overprice and overcharge people with tip sheets that are not affordable. Not only that, if I may say, and you know this, we don't just give out picks. We explain. I'm a math teacher. We like to explain our picks. We like to give reasons why we like our picks, and we have spot plays and grids. And so, anyway, people should look into it. I think they really like it.
Yeah, I'd get the Power Picks, and Pete does some nice, get some nice stats in there. You always, as you say, explain your plays and whatnot. So it's a nice product, and we did put the website up on the screen, so hopefully people will go visit and take advantage. All right, let's jump in and take a look at some of the action at Belmont at the Big A today. Really nice stakes day this afternoon. The stakes will kick off in the 4th. Oh, you and I were talking before we went on the air as well. It is a pick 6 double. Pick 6 carryover day, 110,000. That'll start in race 7. So a couple of the races we'll look at will be part of that carryover pick 6 action. But the stakes action starts.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I saw on the screen the X handle was incorrect. That's an old X handle on the screen. I've said it a few times. So I don't want to confuse people. Maybe your graphics people can change that for the episodes over. But it's at HHH Racing Pod, one word. At
Okay.
HHH Racing Pod.
So that's where they'll find you at HHH Racing Pod on Twitter or X. Okay, very good.
Correct.
All right, let's take a look. Race number 4, Belmont at the Big A. It is the Belmont Turf Sprint. 6 furlongs on the grass, $200,000 up for grabs. I pulled up a replay and put them on top. We'll see. I'm taking a little shot here with Senbei. And I pulled up a replay of last year's Belmont Turf Sprint, which he won nicely. His season this year has been limited, 3 starts, but there was a win a couple starts back in a state bred stakes race at Belmont at the Big A. But on this win in the race last year, obviously the reigning champ, the event, I think the Dean Reeves runner is very interesting for Miguel Clement. 26 Black, Allegan, Run Curtis Run, also in my mix. Fun field. How did you see the turf sprint?
Yeah, Sunday is not one of my top picks, but, on second look, and the workout report came out, last night, and Sunday worked very well last time. I didn't watch it visually, but I got a B+ workout. It feels like he's capable of running bigger races at certain times. He is a high rate of 125, or people that don't like that. I do not have him. I have him third. I'm going 5-4-3, but Sunday can absolutely win. Sunday is more of a closer, and I'll tell you what, for a turf sprint, this is a very murky pace situation. I don't know if you felt the same way, but I suppose the number 2, Dancing Buck, is going to go to the lead, but he's a 7-year-old now. He's stepping off the layup. I'm not sure he's the same as he was last year, New York led. I suppose he can wire the field, but other than that, I don't see a lot of really speed here. I'm going to chalk out with 26 Black. He's in really good form. He's got 2 100 buyers. Lost to Bring the Band Home, who was a complete freak. 2 starts got. And then one last time facing some of these, it was a restricted race. It wasn't quite as difficult as this. But Flavian, is in the saddle. I'm going to go 26 Black. I think Allegan, the number 4, certainly has a shot. Should not be that far off the pace that I have Sunday third. I'm sort of chalking out here. Dancing Buck, the number 2, if he wins, I'm probably just going to lose, and I'll be out of the pick 6 most likely. I might use him defensively because if he comes back to his form from last year, he could be dangerous. But I'm going to using 3, 4, 5 here.
All right, sounds good. Let's move on to race number 5. Again, more stakes action. This is the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. I wrote at the top of the page, very competitive, and I pulled up a replay of the Sword Dancer up at Saratoga last time. The number 1, El Cordobas, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, won. Rebel Red, number 2, runs second. Nation's Pride, number 5, runs third. I'm going to go for Rebel Red here. We're 8-1 on the morning line. Jose Ortiz in town for the ride. And you can see it is a ding-dong finish here with Rebel Red right there, the number 2 horse. I'm going to look for him to switch it up today. I put Rebel's Romance down in the 3rd spot and El Cordobas in between those two. So I have it 4-1-3. But as I say, very competitive. How did you see the Turf Classic?
Yeah, I got to give hats off to Rebel Red, who actually I've been chasing quite a bit. This summer has been disappointing, and I didn't have him in the Sword Dancer, and he almost beat me. But I'll tell you about the horse that we did have. El Cordobas, you and I were both on this horse. We talked about him on the show, and we got paid at 4-1. I was very happy. That was also big for a contest that day, and that was not a $3 contest. That was a $1,000 guy, I believe, that particular day. But I'll tell you what, Seth, I want to say shocked. I'll be very, very surprised if one of these athletes does not win this race. I just feel like El Cordobas, and especially Rebel's Romance, are just better animals. El Cordobas beat, Rebel Red first time here in the state, and now is even more acclimated to running over American racing. I know redistricting is a nice animal, and so is Rebel Red, and Farbridge has won almost $2.4 million. I gotta tell you, these Euros are just better. We've talked about it time and time again. I know it's a prep for the Breeders' Cup, although it is a win and you're in. I am going to go with El Cordobas in a soft choice. It feels to me like Rebel's Romance is not going to be used quite as much as El Cordobas in this race because if El Cordobas wants to get into the Breeders' Cup, Seth, he's got to get some more great stakes earnings. I believe that's how they determine who gets in when push comes to shove. And if athlete has intention on putting El Cordobas into the Breeders' Cup turf, you have to qualify for it, and he needs great stakes earnings. But I'm not suggesting by any means that Frankie Dettori on Rebel's Romance is not going to try as hard in this race as El Cordobas. I'm just saying I think, Rebel's Romance is going to be, 85-90% ready for this race. Well, I think El Cordobas will be 100% ready. So I'm just going to Dolphins and chalking out. I'll be very surprised if one of the Americans wins.
Yeah, I have no real arguments. Again, as I say, I had it labeled very competitive, so I was taking a little bit of a swing with Rebel Red. But Charlie Appleby, we were up at Woodbine a couple weeks ago. His notable speech looked very good in the Woodbine Mile, and I would not be shocked at all to see one of his win this afternoon. Again, very competitive for me in the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. The Woodward has kind of fallen apart with the anticipated scratches in here. So it looks like it's going to scratch down to a field of 3. Given that, short field, horse with some speed, I pulled up a replay of the Suburban. Phileas Fogg was the winner there on the front end. I think that will obviously be the game plan again today. And in a short field, maybe takes him all the way around. Subsequent to the race we're watching here with Phileas Fogg, he was in that mess in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Going to kind of draw a line through that one. But I think, again, in a short field with some early speed, that's the way I tilted. You see anything differently?
Yeah, I agree with you. I wish this, field held together. I want to make a comment at the end of my analysis here because it's a 3-horse field. Yeah. There's not much to say during the replay. I like Phileas Fogg, even if the race had held together. I think he's in really good form. He would have gotten the jump, and is still going to get the jump on the other two in theory. I think Lost is really the story of this race, though, because I loved him early in the year, and he was fantastic, Seth. I mean, wow, was he good. And then his last 2 races have not been good at all. I know he's got 96 buyers, but they've not been good. He has been working with Antiquarium and Fierceness lately. I watched his work against Fierceness last time. I know Fierceness is, a fantastic horse, but Locke had the ass. Like, even the jockey even went to the whip in the work to keep up with Fierceness. I don't know where Locke is right now, man. I don't know. I know it's a 3-horse field, and obviously he can win. I'm just against Locke. I want to see him come back to his form. So I'm going to go Phileas Fogg. Post time to me is better going 1 turn. I know he's going 2 turns, but again, better competition. He's more of a 1-turn animal, although I don't know how strong this race is. I just think, other than the story being Locke, Seth, we need to get these races more spread out in this country.
Yeah.
There's no reason, and it's not Naira's fault. There's no reason why we should have a 3-horse field in such a prestigious race as the Woodward. It's quite ridiculous and very disappointing, to be really honest with you.
I totally agree. And we have the Lucas Classic down at Churchill, and awesome Aaron cross-entered at Gould's Gold, Delaware, and I'm not sure how we solve the problem, though, because they're all separate entities and they all want their big afternoon. But the problem is they wind up not getting a big afternoon.
Yeah, look, I'm not. That's something smarter than me has to figure all that out. Does Delaware need a big race today? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
No disrespect to Delaware, which is a fine, mid-level track. Well, do they need a big day today? When New York, California, and Kentucky have big days today, it's just, I don't know. I think people really need to take a real hard look at it, to be very honest. You know what? Take that money, Seth, and spend it on your local horses, and spend it on your day-to-day, your daily purses instead of these big stake races with fields of 4 and 5. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just for the industry as a whole. And so, again, I get it that they're separate entities and they all want that moment in the sun, but somehow the industry has to come together a little bit and say, wait a minute, for the good of everybody, maybe we have to I totally agree, because a 3-horse field in the Woodward, yikes. But that's the situation this afternoon. All right, we move on to race number 8, the Gallant Bloom Grade 2 event, $250,000. They're going to go 6.5 furlongs. I pulled up a replay in here of our disaster back on August 20th up at Saratoga. As the R would indicate, it's a Rich Averill runner. Averill Racing and Company owns. Safi Joseph trains. This was a pretty nice win. Sloppy track, as you see, mostly on the front end. And now steps into a little stiffer company out of this optional claimer. But that one's interesting to me. I put Sterling Silver on top, however. The New York bred for Belmont, I think, has a little bit of ability in a field where nothing was really pulling me in any direction, although I'm very interested to see what we get in the second start back for Senza Parole, who is the Chad Brown runner, who was phenomenal in the debut last year and then laid off. That was at Saratoga last year, laid off until Saratoga this year, and at 2-5 wound up second. So I'm intrigued to see what that one does second time back. But how did you see the Gallant Bloom?
Seth clearly has read the Power Pick tip sheet that I sent, even though he's on air. He's taking time during the commercials to look at the Power Pick tip sheet because he's a subscriber, and I'm so thankful that you are. And I say that because we have a lot of same horses. Sterling Silver to me is really interesting here, Seth.
Yeah.
His form, her form. Everyone, if you have a mimosa at home, have a drink, because when we misgender on our show, we have to have a beverage. Anyway.
Oh man, I would be toast all the time.
Yes, unfortunately, that does happen once in a while. Mod Alvarado. This is in Alvarado and Mod I trust. Her form is dirtied up. 2 starts back in the Johnstone, which was New York Red Race. She bumped to the brake. She never got involved. My mean squeeze freak that day. And then I don't know why they put her on turf last time. She's not a turf horse. She ran okay. Now, if you want to say, well, Howard, this is not a good pick, she's resting. I understand that it looks that way. I need to see one more bad race in a 7 furlong dirt situation, which is what she does best. I'll list to 6.5, but you know what I mean. I need to see one more poor race and say that she's regressing. and needs to be retired. There isn't the same blah, blah, blah. She ran 3 straight 90 buyers, 3, 4, and 5 starts back against Open Company and Ruffian as well. I just think she fits here, and there's quite a bit of speed in the trace. Our Disaster is fast from the rail. I'm not sure the 6.5 is what she wants, and there's other speed in here stuff. So I am going. I'm looking at my notes here. I just lost stuff in my notes. Okay. Anyway, I know I'm going Sterling Silver on top. I would not. I would look at Scalable also a little bit for Fletcher, the number 4. Coming off a layoff, I'm not sure where she's been, but she might be a sprinter, and she might, find a new career going shorter. So I'm interested in her as well. Then you mentioned Sunday Parole, who's going to have to sit off our Disaster and then go by. She hasn't really proven that she can do that against top competition, but again, Chad's got her in here for a reason. She must be ready. She's a major threat also.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see what that Chad runner can do in the second start back. But interested to see that you're also using Sterling Silver. Curious what the odds will be. 7-2 on the morning line. Off the last couple, I think we'll get that. But yeah, I find that one interesting. And it's a fun race. The Gallant Bloom race number 8. And again, that will be part of that pick 6 sequence with the double carryover today. That starts in race 7. Double carryover of 110,000 in the pick 6. Are you a pick 6 player, Howard?
I play more pick 4s than pick 5s.
Yeah.
I play pick 6s when there's carryovers. It's funny, as we're speaking right now, I'm getting together my pick 6 syndicate group and finding out how much people want to spend. So I am playing the pick 6 today. I usually try to put a group together. And that's, look, I'm not Mr. Moneybags here. I'm not going to put a 4-digit ticket in here on my own. But if you can get, 6, 7, 8 people to put in a few $100, there's your $2,500 ticket you can play. It's always better to get a ticket for 10, 15% than lose a ticket for 100%, right? So I like playing with other people, and especially because I can make the decision.
I hear you, and that's a great kind of a strategy, as you say. You get some friends together, and you can put together a real ticket that it kind of includes all the horses you're interested in. And again, I totally agree. A percentage of a winning ticket better than 100% of a loser. So I do not argue the strategy at all. And as we were just talking about that, I would guess, because I ask a lot of my guests, I may have asked you this before up in Saratoga at some point, but how did you become a racing fan?
You know what? It's interesting. No one in my family really was interested in horse racing. Long story short is a buddy in high school took me actually to the harness races. Was the first live horse race I've ever seen. And I just got hooked right away, mainly I think because I'm a bit analytical. I'm a math teacher. I enjoy reading the programs and looking at the numbers, and that got me interested right away. And I'm just a very competitive person and love sports. So it was just a buddy of mine took me to the track. And the rest was history. My first 4 or 5 years stuff, I was really more of a harness player, to be very honest. And I still play Meadowlands and Woodbine, Mohawk once in a while. So I think it was the math in me and the competitiveness of it really intrigued me.
That is amazing. We were parallel paths then, because none of my family were fans either. And I had a high school friend who was a fan, and I got kind of pulled in via him. And for my early years, I used to make the trip, 30 minutes away to Saratoga Harness regularly. So I kind of, and I always tell people the harness game is a great way to kind of break in, because there's a mile. Every race is so you're taking some of the factors out of it, and it becomes a little bit easier. So it was a great way to start, certainly. But that's funny. I was very, very similar in the way I got started.
Totally agree. And the on-track experience is much more, much less expensive than it is at a lot of thoroughbred tracks as well.
And like you say you're a math guy. I was kind of a brain teaser guy. I like the train's going 100 miles an hour. Where is the mother and the brother sitting in seat row number? And so I always say horse racing is essentially a brain teaser, every 30 minutes or so. And if you get it right, you get paid. So it's even better.
No doubt. It's a puzzle, and it's fair mutual, right? It's not. It's really not you against the horse. It's really you against everyone else.
which makes it even more fun because he gives you the bragging rights afterwards. But let's take a look. Race number 9, wrapping up the stakes action today in New York, the Vosburg. 7 furlongs, the trip. Another really nice field in here. I pulled up a replay of the Forgo because the very talented Bookham Dano will be the winner. But a decent second in here, a length back, was Scotland. Scotland is in this afternoon. Scotland's going to be the number 8 horse here. Bookham Dano, the number 4. So it's a nice run by Scotland. He's coming off of that Forgo start. That was the second start of the season. I like the third start back angle. This horse, Scotland, ran second in the Vosburg last year. All of that said, I'm going to go with Crazy Mason on top for Greg Sacco. Then I used Scotland underneath Doc Sullivan. I didn't know and never know what to do with Baby Yoda. Patriot Spirit is interesting. Nash is interesting on that race 2 back, certainly, but didn't follow it up in the Vanderbilt. Didn't know quite what to do with him. What did you see in the Vosburg?
Well, what I like, I think this double from the Gallup Bloom to the Vosburg is a really good bet because there's some smaller fields early in the card with some of the state races, but this race 8 to race 9 double is really intriguing because I think they're both wide open races. Last time I liked Scotland, we popped on the show, and Paul Haller and I thought Scotland ran huge, finished second. But I'll tell you what, that wasn't last time in time. He was 12-1 in the Forgo. Now he's 5-2 going line. He can win, but just from a pure betting standpoint and gambling standpoint, I'm against him today. The other reason I'm against him a bit is that I just noticed the scratches. Super Chow is out. Now, the number 3 Super Chow wasn't going to win this race, but I thought he was clearly the speed of the speed here, and that even helps my top choice even more. I'm going to go with Nash. And Nash is not a strong pick, but he's got some, I think his best races are just better than these. Now, can he run it? I don't know. That's a big question mark, but he's inside speed. He's only 4 years old. I think Cox is still trying to figure him out. If he breaks and gets close to the front, I think he's got a big shot. His works have been very good. Excuse me. He's been working out and galloping out very well in his work, making sure that he gets that extra distance or an extra stamina. And I just think Nash is really interesting in this spot. I don't know if we're getting 6-1, but I like him. Your top pick, Crazy Mason, I have been against lately because I just don't think he classes up. I have him in second, but now that Super Chow is out, I think I'm going to put him in third, just because I don't know if the race is going to set up for him. Yeah. The other one I like quite a bit here is Patriot Spirit. I don't think the number 8, Patriot Spirit, really gets the respect he deserves here, Seth. He's run very well. By the way, he's the Illinois Derby champ from last year. He's run fast numbers. He gets a great stalking post. Distance, no problem. I'm going 2, 8, 9 in a very competitive Vosburg.
Yeah, I have no arguments with those thoughts because, as I say, I didn't know what to do with Nash. That race 2 back certainly is intriguing. Flavian Prat on board. And before we let you go, I mentioned at the top a nice stakes across the country, and that includes Santa Anita, their opening weekend card, the Goodwood Grade 1 event, $300,000, 9 furlongs the trip. From Twitter, it sounds like gaming will scratch in here. I pulled up a replay of Privman winning at Del Mar back on August 9th. Privman is going to be the number 6 horse here, getting it done. Stepping into stakes company for Bob Baffert the first time. I thought that one was a little bit interesting. First Mission is obviously going to take plenty of action going west for Brad Cox. What did you see in the Goodwood?
Privman, of course, named after Jay Privman, a fantastic retired journalist for the DRF. Look, I think it's a 2-horse race. I think it's either First Mission or Full Serrano. To me, it's pretty simple. If Full Serrano gets loose, he's obviously very dangerous. If Privman pushes him hard, which I think he will, I think Full Serrano will be a little bit compromised. I don't like to rip on jockeys at all. They have a very tough job to do. It's very dangerous. Just ask Brian Hernandez, unfortunately. Florent Giroux, his ride last time was just not very good on First Mission at all. He went way too slow on the lead. He didn't even see Service Air coming. And then when he came, he just couldn't go with him because First Mission is not a push-button kind of horse stuff. And I know this horse very well. If you look at his PPs, he's much, much better stalking. He does not do his best on the lead. He wants a target. He's going to get a target today, unless, and it's Rispoli riding. For people that don't know, by the way, because Paco, of course, is not riding with the suspension. So Rispoli just sits off that. I just think he's the more classy animal. We saw what Locke did when an East Coast horse goes west and is of high quality. I think First Mission is pretty darn good. I just think he's been dirty up in his last two, and he lost to Mindframe Sierra Leone too bad. So I'm all in here on First Mission. And you know what? I think I might get that 8-5, but I think Full Toronto is not going to be 2-1. He's going to take a ton of them.
Yeah, I find First Mission very solid in there as well. In a kind of a nice addition of the Goodwood on a good stakes card out at Santa Anita as well. Howard, appreciate the visit. And again, I will reiterate the Twitter handle we showed on the screen. We'll update that for your next visit, but it should be HHH Racing Pod if you want to follow Howard on Twitter. There is the website address. You can check that out for more information about the podcast over on YouTube and beyond, and also find out more information on the Power Pick sheet. Howard, as always, appreciate the visit and the thoughts this afternoon. We'll talk again.
Thanks, Seth. Always a pleasure. Crush your bets, everyone, today across the country.
Howard Kravets, again, the HHH Racing Podcast. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap it up for a Saturday morning. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer. Wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back. Again, we talked about some of the stakes action here, but it's a really nice stakes weekend. Also, we hit on the stakes in New York. We hit on the stakes at Churchill. We touched briefly on Santa Anita. They have, besides the Goodwood, they have the City Hope Mile, the Eddie D Stakes out there, the John Henry Turf Championship. So nice day out at Santa Anita as well. Laurel Futurity and the Salima for the 2-year-olds. So nice day down in Maryland. Also, Delaware, they have the Christiana, the Endine, I think that is, and the Kent, which the Kent was a springtime stake that would play into some of the turf action at Saratoga usually, but they have moved the Kent to a little bit later on, and that'll be today. Tomorrow, there's nice stakes action as well. Giopani in New York. At Delaware, a slew of stakes, and that Delaware handicap, we kind of touched on that as offering, some opportunities for the fillies and mares. The Battery Park for 3-year-olds and up, which again was some of the cross-entered horses we talked about. I'm just looking because there was a couple others. The Breeders' Stake is tomorrow at Woodbine, the third leg of their Triple Crown. There's no, given that, what happened in the Prince of Wales, where the King's Plate winner, just a frustrating loss. It would have been fun to have a shot at a Triple Crown, but with that loss, no shot at a Triple Crown. But the Breeders' Stakes again, a Triple Crown race, the third of 3 up at Woodbine tomorrow. Again, without an actual Triple Crown on the line. Let me remind you once again, $110,000 carryover, double carryover, Belmont at the Big A. That will start in race number 7. So if you're a Pick 6 player, jump in. And I also want to remind you that coming up today here at the Clubhouse Racebook Trifecta Challenge, you can have a little extra fun with the Trifecta Challenge here at the Racebook. But even more fun, it's fun to watch even. If you don't get selected, just fun to see people step up to the putting green for pick and putt. Putt for the dough here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Come down, watch the Ryder Cup action, watch obviously the horse racing action, maybe grab a little lunch at Black Bear. And folks randomly selected throughout the afternoon to step up to our little putting green and putt for the dough. I know 1 or 2 people, at least. I was not here till the end of the afternoon, but I know a couple of people sunk some putts. So have some fun here at the Racebook today. 711 Central Avenue in Albany. As I say, I wasn't here at the end of the day yesterday because we were at the Rustic Barn Pub in Troy. Hopefully it caught our cut-ins during the afternoon. We appreciate the hospitality of everybody out there. Had lunch. Food was great. The atmosphere was great. Had a group of folks sitting at the bar watching and playing during the afternoon, and we enjoyed our visit. If you're out in that direction, it's one of our newest Easy Bet locations, opened later in the summer, August sometime. But again, if you're in the Troy area, Rustic Barn Pub, Easy Bet, highly recommend it. All right, let's wrap it up for Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. I'm just doing my pages here because I wanted to check. And yes, post time in New York is 12:35. Post time in Kentucky, Churchill, 12:45. I'll come back in, an hour or so to kick off, maybe a little more than that, to kick off the action for OTB Live on a Saturday afternoon. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you are too. Hopefully we can give out a little advice that will lead to some money, cashing tickets. That is always the game plan. Hopefully we gave you some good advice already in the last hour. Always appreciate your tuning in. Seth Merrow, Racing Across America on a Saturday morning. As I say, we'll be back a little over an hour as we kick off OTB Live for a Saturday afternoon. So we'll see you then. We'd like to thank Woodbine for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Woodbine open now through December, featuring great racing, including the King's Plate coming up in August, Turf Champions Day with the Woodbine Mile in September, and much, much more. Woodbine Racing, great racing north of the border.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.